NRL Fantasy best buys for round 17. These are 5 guys you cannot go wrong with. 5 guys that'll probably help you in round 19 in particular, and 5 guys who will help you to win your league or get that overall ranking where it needs to be. Let's get into it here. So the first option we have on this list is not debatable. It's Nico Hines. It's 932k, which is crazy to say as a discount. He's a guy who can be up around 1.1 mil. So 932k, it's quite cheap for him. 66.8 average. It can be higher than that at times as well. The Sharks have a pretty good run of fixtures here too. So the Dogs this week isn't ideal, but the next fortnight after that is really a bit more friendly for fantasy scores, right? So if you get Nico Hines right now, you've got the top captain for this week, and you've got probably the top captain for the rest of the season as well. I see basically no downside with this. The only risk is he's got quite a high break even. He will probably get a bit cheaper next week, but even then, is it worth waiting on this, or do you think you need to jump on this one right now? For me, it's a pretty easy answer. I'm jumping on right now. I think get Nico Hines, Captain Nico Hines, and don't look back. Number 2 on the list is Appy Coruscant, and he played a crazy game for the Tigers against the Raiders on the weekend. They destroyed the Raiders, and Coruscant was a huge part of that performance. He scored massive in that game. 626k is still quite cheap for him. Tigers have a really good buy schedule as well. So if you get him in, you've got a guaranteed hooker for round 19. He also plays round 20. And you got a guy who's hitting form at the right time of year. The 48-point average is fine. That's about what he's going to average overall. But he has the potential to go huge in certain games too. One thing to consider here is that he has the Roosters this week, and they're a tougher matchup. Their forward pack is quite strong. But I still think Coruscant gets through a ton of work in this one and has some attacking upside as well with how good the Tigers are playing lately. Third on the list, we've got Britton Nakora. And look, 610k is a bit of a discount for him. He's a guy who, in terms of a fantasy scoring profile, he's not a pure work rate, right? So he's not making 50 tackles a game. He's not running huge hit-up meters in general. But Nakora's a guy who, he scores sort of 35 to 40 points, and you add on attacking stats on top of that. Saying that, he's one of the best line runners in the game too. So those attacking stats aren't as unreliable as they are for some other players. Meaning that if Nakora is playing and he's healthy, and Cronulla looking good, Nico Hines is playing, you can usually count on Nakora for some big attacking stats. So 45.6 average right now. I could see that floating towards 50 towards the end of the year. So if you want to get on a guy, you need a back row for around 19 in particular. Britton Nakora could be a good shout. He's a borderline keeper. I like him a lot. B+ rating for this one. Number 4, we got Greggy Marzu. Greg, mate, he's an absolute tank. Only a couple of tries this year, so the attacking stats haven't been huge, but I like the fixtures coming up. So he's got Parramatta this week, and he's got some pretty cruisy fixtures coming up over the next month of footy as well. For Greg Marzu, he's at a price where it's all upside, right? So 449k, he's not going to get much cheaper than that. It's basically his floor. He's a guy who can be worth about 700k at times as well. So if you want to get on Greggy Marzu, I like this run of fixtures, and then Kalen Ponga will come back round 20 or round 22, meaning that Greg Marzu is going to get even more attacking opportunities coming at him from one of the best fullbacks in the game. So overall, I really like this option. I think the Knights will go on a bit of a tear down the stretch this year as well. And I think Greg Marzu is going to be a big part of that. He'll be one of those form guys who hits a streak, make the call, go early. I think this is the week to do it. It's a B- because it is a bit risky, but the upside is enormous. Number 5, Isaac Tungo. And he has been hopelessly out of form in terms of fantasy performances lately. Playing decent footy in real life, he looks fine, but just not getting the amount of ball that he normally does when Cleary's in the team. He will return to form as soon as Cleary comes back. It is as simple as that. It's like, don't overthink it. As soon as Cleary comes back, this guy's going to turn up. If you need a center this week, I wouldn't screw around with any of these other players personally, and I'd just jump straight to Tungo. I think 441k is too cheap. He's a guy who was priced at 750k earlier this year as well. He will, I think, get back close to that level too. I think he averages 50 plus down the stretch after Cleary returns. And I just think he's a guy you can plug in and keep for the rest of the year at a discount price. So if you need a center, he doesn't play around 19, which isn't that helpful, but overall, he's a guy you can keep long term. I really like this option. That is our NRL Fantasy buys for round 17. So check those guys out. A bunch of different positions there to look at. Look at what you need for round 19 in particular, and look at what you need for this week as well. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next video. Good luck this week. Peace out.